Hey, welcome back to the shop. I'm going to shoot a video here on the progress we're making on sharpening and setting bandsaw blades in anticipation of our HD 36V2 Norwood, which is supposed to be delivered on Friday. So if you haven't watched the other videos, go ahead and watch them because it explains a lot. I don't want to go through the whole thing again, but I did the sharpener last night. It worked spectacularly. As you can see behind me, I got the Foley bell saw. Also, this will auto sharpen the blades. The Foley is more designed around just doing really a maintenance sharpening, just the face of the teeth. The grinder that I set up last night on yesterday's two videos, I apologize for having to whack that into two, but I moved the phone and it shut off near the end. And there were a few more things I wanted to say, but the sharpener does the entire gullet profile, as well as rake angles, fully adjustable, something anybody can do. So if you're interested in trying to figure out how to sharpen bandsaw blades DIY without buying a $600 or $800 sharpener, then watch my videos last night and it'll give you a heads up on how to move forward with like one of those Tecumseh clones or something like that. I have Oregon grinders and a friend of ours who sent us these blades to practice on to get ourselves set up off his Wood-Mizer, off their Wood-Mizer, sent me a grinder that the old man he bought the sawmill from gave him. And what I did is I adapted it over to a 3/4 wheel and profiled the wheel to do the entire gullet. And you still have to do it manually, move it manually, but down the road we'll set it up to be able to feed in the whole 9 yards. But right now we just want to be able to sharpen our blades and set our blades accurately. And these came out, I'll take the camera out and show you some, but these came out wicked. And I actually did go around on the back side and remove the burr off the top of the teeth with, I know I just got out of, with just a little, diamond hone. I started with a file just to see if it would cut them, and it really does. And just, there's a burr on the top of the teeth, and just a few swipes with this thing takes the burr right off, and these things are laser sharp. So I want to show you the setter. All right, so the little old man that sold him the Wood-Mizer gave him this little, I thought it was a DIY setter, but I actually think it's manufactured just because of how well it's done, the tapped holes, how well it's painted and everything. I think he bought it from either Wood-Mizer, because it's Wood-Mizer colors, or some other manufacturer that made this thing. But this is something that you guys can make at home. And from my results right now that I'm getting, it's really repeatable. It's slow, but it's really repeatable and very, very accurate. I'm going to show it to you, show you what I'm doing. I'm also going to show you why you need to set your bandsaw blades before you sharpen. So I'm going to move the camera real quick so I can get you a view straight down on top of it. Uncle Si, I apologize for moving the camera. So I'm going to get you around here real quick just so I can show you what this is. So it's a piece of channel with a dial indicator, a couple of tapped holes for a channel, and it's pretty tight right now. You can adjust that and loosen it. And then this little thing, and if any of you know what that's called, I'd love to know. I have no idea, but I want to make a dual tooth setter, and I want to get some more of these so I can make one. And I don't know what they're called. It does have a number on it. It says it's a model 605, and all this does is push in and out. Make sure you guys can see this. Yep, it's got a jam nut and some sort of piece of threaded rod in here, so you can adjust the amount of stick out here. So the amount that pushes the tooth over, and I'll show you that in a second. I'll get you a real good close-up view of the dial indicator and what's going on, and explain to you why you really need to set your teeth before you sharpen. Now for me, I'm not even going to show you the sharpener. You can go watch the other videos. But for me, I was trying to get the grinder set up, and with the modifications I made to it, it came out terrific. I don't know how well it's going to show up in the camera. I got the back-facing camera now, which usually gives better resolution on tonight, so I can't see myself. So if I get out of frame, I apologize. But you're going to be more important in this. It did a terrific job. These are crazy sharp. I didn't like the way after they were sharpened and there's a burr on the top. I didn't want those burrs. I'm going to send this blade back to Craig and Karen so they can use it on their wood miser for a thank you for letting me practice on it. But I didn't like the way there was a burr on top of these teeth. And I know that it's going to get worn right off, but as a kind of sharpening guru, I don't want that to rip off and leave a jagged edge. So I went around and just really quickly knocked the burr off the top of the teeth, and it made these things so crazy sharp that I will guarantee you. I don't know if you see that nail hanging in there. I guarantee this is going to be the sharpest blade they've ever run. But let's get to the setter here. So setter, little piece of channel. So I'll get you a good view. Apologize for moving the camera around. There we go. If I can get you maybe rotated. How can I rotate? You won't see my face, but you'll be able to see what's going on. That's a pretty good view right there. All right, so I'm going to go through a couple of teeth here, and just if you don't know anything about setting bandsaw teeth, as a general rule of thumb, you want to set the teeth over half the thickness of the plate. So if the plate, this particular plate's 041 thickness, 41 thousandths. So you want to set the teeth over around 20 thousandths. The manufacturer likes to get them over about 22 to 24 so that you don't have to, you can do a couple of sharpenings before they start to get out of spec. So I'm knocking them over to 22 thousandths. I got some numbers written down here, and these numbers are my springback numbers that I'm observing from using this thing. So if I push it over 85 thousandths from the zero, 85 thousandths from whatever the tooth set is, let's just say it's zero. And what I'll do is I'll straighten up a tooth and I'll set it for you, because these are all coming out pretty close. If it pushes over to 85 thousandths, the spring back ends up at 21 thousandths. And if it pushes over 88 thousandths, it springs back to 22 thousandths. So just as a reference. So the way this works is I'm only setting the teeth on one side right now, which makes this kind of slow. And I did go around and mark all my raker teeth. So all your raker teeth, which is every third tooth, there's a straight up and down one. You use that as your zero. So slide it over right in the middle of the thing. Now, they're all not going to be perfect, but I've been zeroing them. You probably don't even have to. You can probably just go right straight to the next tooth and set it. But I am finding, and this is why you need to set your blades before you sharpen. I've never heard anybody explain this, but I'm going to tell you why it is. Because as the grinding wheel's going through here, it's not going to burr on the back side of these teeth. And it will throw off your measurement as much as 4 or 5 thousandths. So right now, there's a burr on the back side of this tooth. I'm just going to show where it's at. So right now it's zeroed, right? There's a burr on the back side of this raker tooth, and if I just take a file and I just touch that burr off, and it's just a couple of little scratches, all right? I'm minus 2 thousandths right now almost. Well, 1.5 thou. So that's why you need to set before you sharpen, because when you use your blade, it's taking all the burrs off in your wood, and then you're going to have nice clean edge of the teeth to set for your zero. So the next tooth is setting backwards, so that's the one we're going to work on. Let's see where it is. And it's probably got a burr on the backside, which is going to show too much. All right, so right now it's showing 28 thousandths. I'm going to feel the backside, see if there's a burr on it, which there is. I'll show you how much burr is there, and then I'm going to straighten this tooth up and I'm going to set it. So if I just set it with the tooth and just a couple of really light scratches to just wipe the burr off, now it's kind of smooth. Now it's at 25. All right, so you know, it's a few thousands. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the set out of this tooth. Make sure I stay in frame. And I'm going to set it. So get myself set. You can make up one of those, you know, a threaded rod with a slot in it, but this works fine. So I'm just going to take a real gently take some of the set out of the tooth. Let's see where it is now. All right, so right now, as you can see, we're about 10.5 thousandths. Push this thing down. That's at 86 thou. So I think this might set about 20. It's actually 18. So I'm actually gonna go a little further with this one. I might have moved this when I was messing with it. Well, that's 90. That's set at 20. Make sure it's down in there. And there are a couple of bolts underneath here to adjust the height. So that's at 21 right now. I'm going to leave it there. That's actually cranking it over to 90 thousandths on that one. That's an outlier. I was getting 88 thousandths for 22. So here's my next raker tooth. I'm assuming there's a burr on the backside. It's not very much, but I'll set it at 0. Bring the thing over. Since this one's, you know, 26, I'm going to feel that burr. Yep, there's a pretty good burr. Watch when I take that burr off. I don't even have to reset this tooth. And I mean, I'm just really lightly going right with the tooth angle. It's 20, you know, almost just a little over 24. So this one's probably good the way it is. Let's do it. Let's just set it anyway. So let's take the set out of it so you can see how it works. Oops. Shouldn't have to do that every time. So take some, just real lightly take the set out of it. So now I'm at 8. That's 88 thou. You can see on the dial. And it's a little bit light. I wonder if that's, oh, it's not right in the middle. Let's get it right in the middle. That's 90 thou, 20, a little light. Now you could leave it there. I mean, you're only talking about 1,000th. I just want to get it, see if how, I was getting some pretty repeatable results when I was doing this a minute ago. You know, I was just whizzing through 22 thou, 22 thou. Okay, so that's 94, and that's 22. So, you know, real accurate measurement, you can check your dial indicator, make sure you're getting the same repeatable measurement. It's just over 21. Let's do another one. So we got ourselves pretty much at raker tooth at 0. This one's set over, it's probably a burr on the back side of it, which there's a real ragged burr on the back side of this one. You don't need to have a diamond hone to do this, just means I barely have to touch it. 22,000. So this blade, you know, this band is set pretty well from the factory. I'd almost bet that it hasn't been sharpened before, and I'd almost bet that this is the factory set, and so far it looks pretty good. So again, this raker tooth 0, and 23.5 with a teeny burr. I'm just going to leave that one. So this raker tooth is a little bit minus, just for the sake of doing that. I'm just going to check it anyway. I'm way over now, probably because of my minus. That raker tooth could be bent too. But let's go ahead and take the set out of this one. Just set it to where she comes out. So that's at 10. I'm going to get this thing right in the middle. I'm seeing that it sets better when the tooth is kind of in the middle of this thing. I'm learning as I go too here, guys. That's 96. Whoa. Oh, this didn't go back. 22. 22 and a half. So this works pretty good. I mean, it's slow, obviously. You know, I got it set up here on my, oh, sorry. It's set up here on my bench. I'll have something set up outside later. Let's just say that we don't have to adjust to 0 every time we go to a raker tooth, and let's just go right to the tooth. So again, it's a little heavy. I'm just going to take the set out and do another one. I know you guys are going to want to see this, so. There's no doubt in my mind that you could just run this band the way it is. This is the way it came from the factory, from Wood-Mizer. All right, or there's 7 degrees, so I'm not sure if it's a Wood-Mizer band, but wherever Craig and Karen have been getting their bands from, this is the way it came from the factory. Get that thing right in the middle. So that's actually 96 and 23. So I'm just going to write these things down here. So 0.096, I'm getting 0.023, just for reference for myself. Let's go past the raker tooth. It's pretty much just 2000s. Check this one. It's probably going to be like 28, watch. Yeah, 28. So I'm going to take some of the set out of it. Could probably just leave it. It's probably got to do with the burr on the back. There is a pretty, let's see how much that burr is. It's sticking out on the top a little bit. Yeah, it's at 24. So, I mean, it's, you know, you're talking about, you're really splitting hairs. But you can see it's fairly repeatable for a pretty simple setter here. I'm going to go ahead and zero it. I'm just going to take that burr off before I even start on this one. Now, if I had set before I sharpened, I wouldn't be doing this. 22. So you see it's pretty good from the factory. You could really pretty much 0, 24 probably with a burr, little dinky one, so that's probably good. This one's a little minus. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Check is probably going to come out a little heavy. It is 30. There's a teeny burr on the back side. I want to give this back to them, and I want them to say, oh my God, it cut so great. So take a little set out. It's down about 12. Get this thing stuck in pretty much in the middle. Like I said, I'm learning with you guys here. Whoa, that's heavy. That one bent way over. It's only 25, but I'm not crazy about that. 26. I'm going to take it back out and do it again. See if that. So you would think that if I go to 90-ish, that's 20. 92, I got 21. This is really repeatable, guys. 95, I got 21 and a half. I'll leave it there. That was without locking it all the way down, actually just using the dial indicator to bend it over. But yeah, so I'm going to take you out of the holder real quick and just get you, sorry about movement. This works, and for somebody, if you can't set, rather than doing it with a hand setter. So yeah, piece of channel. This little thing, I'll get you the model number off it. It's right there. Model 605. Don't know really what that's called. It's got that little piece of I don't know if it's hardened threaded rod, or they cut the head off a cap screw or something. It's got a jam nut, which is loose right now. You could just crank this thing and just use the dial indicator and get yourself real close. So just actually make it almost so it goes too far, and then just crank it over to 96, and I'm getting that 22 thousandths. Let's see here. So see underneath how well it's painted. They're all tapped holes. You can see the two little adjustment screws over there to adjust the height of the blade, which I have that much sticking up right now. That's how it was set when I got it. I don't know. I wouldn't want to go any more high. I wouldn't want to go any higher than that. The anvil is up a little, which is probably why. I want the anvil hitting pretty much right on the, right on the side of the tooth. I could see that being a little lower, but if you lower the blade, then that anvil will be too high and it'll be hitting up on the tip. So I kind of like it where it is. Whatever you guys want to, you'll have to mess with that, but I'll show you where that, I don't want to hit my stupid off button. Show you where that is versus where the anvil's hitting there to help you out. So you can see the anvil's hitting just above the gullet, right in the middle of the tooth. And that is giving me pretty good results. Now you can see the back side of these teeth. See how well the gullets get ground out. You can see the shape that I got. These, I won't even have to pick one, but you can see how, wow, see that string that just came off my thumb? These are wicked sharp. That setup that I made, if I get it in the light right, where's the light right? You can see the setup down there on the floor, but I profiled that wheel to match the gullet profile. And if you're interested in that, watch the video. So these are 7-degree rake angle. Where's my finger? This 7-degree rake angle factory gullet profile. And like you said, I'm just down and dirty on the joinery bench here doing this. You can see this is a little bit adjustable. It was set too far this way when I first got it. I adjusted it back so that the tooth rides into the, this has got a funky little tip on it with some angles just so that it rides in there and it doesn't get stuck. The way it came to me, this was too far this way and the tooth would hit it. So I backed it up a little bit. I oiled the crap out of it. It was kind of crunchy. Seems to be repeating now. It's working much better. I oiled up the, I don't know what you call this, the crystal or whatever here to get it to be able to turn easier. It was really crunchy. You could tell it had been around a lot of grind and dust. And yeah, so this is the band that I'm going to send back. I started at the weld, so you can see the weld over there. So I've done around to here in one direction. Still have that to do, so this is not going to be fast. If I just threw caution to the wind and just went to the tooth and just cranked it to 96 and just kept going, it would be okay. Probably, well, let me put you back in the tripod real quick. Talk about a couple things. How high up? I'm going to get behind over here in front of the planes. Just talk about a couple things real fast. So I'll probably end up putting, hopefully that's good. Get down on one knee. No. Where's my head? My head's right here. You can see above that. You can see me. Famous for getting out of frame. I will probably put some, make up some kind of hand crank to crank that thing adjustable over so it, moves it with an indexing stop so that it moves it the exact amount to make it faster. So you can just crank it, set it, crank it, set it, crank it, set it, crank it, set it. But if you're just getting into milling like we are, as far as, having a sawmill, we've been milling for years with chainsaw mills, but we're just getting a sawmill for the first time. If you're just getting into sawmilling, you have to learn how to do this stuff, or you're going to be sending all your bands out. So either you're going to do them yourself, or you're going to send them out and have to pay for them. We want to be able to do our own. We got 16 bands coming with the mill. Those will probably last us quite a while, but in our business, we're getting yard trees and stuff like that. So we're gonna be hitting metal, and we're gonna be wrecking bands, and I don't want to have to be paying to get them sharpened when I've already got this massive sharpening setup in everything else we do. We do, professional sharpening for chainsaw chains and plane irons and chisels and hand saws. We're set up to do everything. So this is just another, this is identical to sharpening a rip saw, hand saw. Just it's slower because there's so many more teeth. But we're going to get good at it and do it so we can do it ourselves and save us. I don't know how much people charge, but I think it's 17 to 20 bucks a band for sharpening. So if we can save $17 to $20 a band by just doing it this way, it's not like we're out production milling with a hydro mill every day, blowing through 1,000+ board feet and going through 2 or 3 bands a day. We'll be able to go through a band that day, and then anytime I'm sitting around and have nothing to do, I can come in here and set it, sharpen it, and use it the next time. So I'm just taking you through our process, proof of concepts that we can do it and do it right. Set it right, sharpen it right, sharpen it to effective geometry. I'll probably do a video on geometry to explain some of it to you. It's very similar to hand saws, and why the teeth do what they do, and what the different rake angles will give you in different kinds of wood, because they're very applicable from handsaw sharpening to these. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. Kate's going to move the camera around. I'm going to upload this, and if you have any questions, definitely hit me up. I answer everybody back. Like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you want to share our videos, that's great. We're not monetized. We do this for information only. I've got almost 300 videos up of all different things, from sharpening rip chainsaw chains to converting round file to square file, to building chainsaws, porting chainsaws, testing chainsaws, milling hardwoods, the nastiest hardwoods in the world that we use in our business to build things. So give us a look, and definitely like, subscribe, and share if you can, and toss us a comment, and I'll get back to you. But thanks for hanging out, and it's almost dinner time, so probably take a couple of dinner times just to get through this big ass band. But appreciate the watch. Thanks.